So, I think if I think about where to start, I think the beginning for me was the pandemic and then everything that happened in the pandemic. And everyone has a pandemic story. Mine is really from the point that my dad died to the lockdown to quitting teaching because I didn't know how to be an online teacher to losing a few friends along the way and then to not understanding how to deal with any of this because all of the changes were happening so quickly. When I tried to write, I remember in 2020, I really tried to write something. I thought that I could write my way out of pain. But I realized you can't do that. I realized that writing is really my way of understanding an experience, but it's not the answer. It isn't how you heal. It's a way of just processing everything that happened to you. Most stories, they tell you there's a before and then they tell you there's an after. And most stories are success stories. They're about how a person got through from before to after. But when I wrote Notes from the Border, I wanted to write from a place of being in the middle and being confused and lost and scared. Most 30-year-olds, I don't think they like saying that. I think the idea is that when you're in your 30s, you have to have it figured out. As an adult, I thought that everything had to make sense. But then this big event happened and nothing made sense. And I guess I'm starting to realize like it's okay. It's okay to be in that middle ground. It's okay to be there for a while. It's also okay not to make sense of anything and to just continue to find your way through. Your goal as an artist, as a creative, and as a person is not to make the pain go away. It's to feel it all. And once you make sense of it, the pain will break your heart open. But I think once it's broken open, and you start to move towards healing, then you start to create things out of it. I think any creative person, it's not their goal to make something beautiful out of their pain, but it is their goal to tell a story, to tell their most honest story. If you try to tell an honest story, it's always beautiful, even if it's messy and it's painful. In a lot of ways, I think that's why I really appreciate the time I took to write Notes from the Border, because it wasn't like, this is how I got through grief. It wasn't a five-step solution to pain. It was me being in the middle of all of that pain, me being messy and complicated and lost and scared, and being vulnerable and honest enough to tell people that that's exactly where I was. And I didn't have answers, and I still don't have answers as to how do you survive tragedy. I'm not super sure. And I just remember that when I was going through all the things I was going through, I remember feeling so alone. And it took certain people sharing their own experiences to make me feel like I wasn't. And it was such a gift. It really felt like such an honor to be reminded that we never walk through this earth alone. Like our experiences are not unique. And there are people who can share in our pain, in our tragedy, in our grief. These are just like little notes. They're almost like little dispatches from my 2021 self. But my hope is that someone will read it and be reminded that they're not walking through this earth alone. That somebody, even a stranger, somebody gets them. And I hope it helps. And I hope it gives them the same kind of freedom and salvation that I had when I read other people's works and felt seen, or when other people reached out to me and I felt known.